Win at Pitt, that should move them up. We don't have the official NCAA numbers out until later tonight or tomorrow. But if they win here, it's all academic. They're going. J.C. Griggs is our center referee, and we are underway from South Bend. The final game of 4 in the ACC Men's Soccer Championship quarterfinal round. Good feed by KK Bafor. Back to Ethan O'Brien. Out wide to Patty Burns. Mo Williams on it, looking long. It'll do just what that Cardinal fan wanted and get out. Devin, how difficult is it to change system mid-season when Cardinals went from a 4-back to a 3-back, and then on short notice like this, because of a red card to Mason Tatafu, they have to do it again, essentially? How challenging is that?
I'd say the bigger challenge they're going to deal with right now is the mental side of things for how well they were playing coming out of it, because they understand what the system they're going to be in now, whether you want to call it a 4-2-3-1 or a 4-3-3, in which the wingers get pretty wide and create separation. Changing into the 3 gave them the confidence to go and find results. Now, we didn't necessarily see that in terms of wins right away, but they were just playing better, and they lacked confidence, so they gained all that back. Now when you go back to it, the idea of what once was can scare you a little bit. Don't let it. You're coming off a great result that had a lot of very similar personnel. That's what you want to focus on right now. Forget about what your actual setup is, and just worry about the opponent and the opportunities presented.
Quentin Elliott, nice quick feet, sophomore, Columbus Crew Academy product, skipping down the right flank there. Number 7, Brandon McManus, got caught by the turf monster. So it goes out in touch for Notre Dame. Louisville last won this title back in 2018. Took down UNC in the final. Notre Dame won this title more recently back in 2021, and actually 8 players on this roster played in that ACC tournament and also played up into the College Cup run, where they eventually lost to the champs Clemson in the semifinal. Damian Barker-John, who's been on fire as of late, number 11 on the ball, turns it over. Sebastian Green, head up. Finds Daniel Russo. KK Bafor pushing forward. Out wide to Burns. Now Genenbacher back to Brian Dowd. Definitely a front runner for goalkeeper of the year. Got pressured there, but he's been outstanding throughout the season. Dowd has been 8 clean sheets, 3rd in the U.S., 1st in the conference. His save percentage just under over 86%, 5th in the USA. And his goals against average .53, 4th in the country. He also was a critical part of that 2021 title team and run as Ethan O'Brien goes down from Konstantinos Georgalitis. Georgalitis is another one of these players, Devin, that was injured. He missed 3 games during the year. You talked about Guerra already. Bryce LaBelle was hurt. Josh Jones was hurt. Louisville's dealt with a lot of injuries this year, too, beyond the change in formation and struggles with form was a lot of time because of personnel availability.
And this is really the first time since the early goings of 2023 that head coach of Louisville, John Michael Hayden, has had almost full selection of all of those players. As mentioned, Mason Tatafu unavailable for selection because of the red card. Otherwise, you're pretty deep. And even into training as well, outside of Ryan Troutman, the goalkeeper, they've gotten almost everybody back. Even Philip Fredall has worked his way back into rotation from an injury that has seen him absent the entirety of the year. Even stuff like that, Dallin, when you have players that are so impactful in a previous season and they're unavailable, just to see them back in training. Results are one thing, but to see so much talent back in the mix, it amplifies that level, which gives you the belief that regardless of opponent, you can go chase a result, and that's what Louisville's been looking for. They found it versus Pitt. Can they find it again here against Notre Dame? That's the big question.
Yeah, John Michael Hayden, he knows how to win in college soccer. He's an Indiana grad, two-time national champ. He's a first-round pick of the Houston Dynamo. They went on to win MLS Cup in his rookie year, so he knows how to win. And he said to us this week, he's like, just training and having everybody back. Let me knock on some wood to make sure I don't jinx anything with all the injuries they've dealt with. The question is, too, though, how much, I mean, they started so well. They were best start in program history. They're up to number 5 in the nation in the second week of September. But then the results and the injuries came, and that man, Gage Guerra, going down, hurt them as he missed about 6 weeks of action. This will be his 3rd game back. They're number 9. But the question is, Devin, how many minutes he can give them at his full capacity will, be TBD in this game.
And my guess is, if you watch the workload continue to increase for Gage Guerra, my mind veers towards like that 60, 65-minute mark, considering you've seen him ramped up. It went from 15 to 25 to 47. It's a natural progression for a striker that, Dallin, you have to make sure that, yes, you certainly want him back in, but on this influx of positive play that you've gotten, you're starting to trending in a direction that is going to enable you to further your season into the NCAA tournament conversation. One would hate to overstep with Gage Guerra and then have him unavailable, because we've already seen what that looks like this year. So you ease him right along, find ways to make him impactful within the game. Again, it certainly isn't helpful, the fact that you have to do it against arguably the best team in the country, certainly in the top 5.
And looks like Parker Forbes is going to pick up a little ticky-tack foul, and you do not want to do that against Notre Dame. 13 of their 36 goals have been from set pieces. Foul there, Dev? Thoughts?
Yeah, I'm processing exactly why there's a stoppage of play right now. Can't figure that out. The only argument you could have is possibly they called a handball, but the referee doesn't have his hand in the air, so I didn't see an indirect free kick called.
All right, well, Ethan O'Brien will take the kick. Missed all of last year due to injury. Having him back has been impactful for this team. Whips it in. Williams goes up. And did Alex Svetnov touch it over? No, he didn't. So the sophomore from Indiana will take the goal kick. Josh Jones finds the feet of McManus. Elliott and Bafford battling. And the foul will be called on Bafford. In the 3rd quarterfinal, going on right now over on ACC Network, Duke and Clemson tied at 2, going to overtime. Tyler Trimnell scored 3 of the 4 goals. 2 for Clemson, 1 against his own team off his head. But he had the equalizer when it mattered, so they're going to OT. Sebastian Green working, ushered out. Well done by Parker Forbes.
It's pretty incredible, this journey that Notre Dame has been on. You talked about 8 separate starters from that 2021 College Cup team. They returned 9 starters from last year, 20 players overall from 2022, 14 players from the 21 team. And to see a squad go from almost the highest of highs, ACC tournament champions, one of the top 4 teams in the country, bowing out in the College Cup semifinal, to a 500 season. Chad Riley just says it's depth, it's quality of play, and it's also the belief. They had a really interesting run towards the latter portion of the 2021 year, where sort of an aha moment in the spring. But as the season went on, there was this wild 4-3 affair against Michigan State. After that, they just bought in, and their identity was all about the defensive unit. Now, that's followed them here once again, so much so that at this point in this season, in 2021, the team was sitting on 7 shutouts. Well, they're on 9 this year. So we make a lot of comparisons as to what was for this squad that was one of the best teams in the country in 2021. Statistically, this team has surpassed them, at least so far.
Chad Riley looking for a call there, but he has built this program and continued the legacy of this program into something continually special. And what's different about the way they do a lot of things to the current climate in college sports, it's hard to really play with transfers. They got to develop guys, and that's why they had that great 2021 year. They lost key guys like Mo Omar and Jack Lynn and Phil Quinton and others, and they really struggled last year. But these guys have developed and taken those lumps, and they play with a chip on their shoulder. We always do talk about their defense, but offensively, I think this team is they're more dynamic in my mind than the 2021 team, because Lynn, they were so dependent on Jack Lynn, as great as he was. This team seems more variable. Is that a fair statement?
100% agree with you. A lot more of it was quick fire in nature, finding Jack Lynn in transition and then picking some moments off of set pieces. But now all of a sudden, I understand tonight you don't have Matt Rue, but you've got a scrapper who's a little bit of a poacher in Matt Rue. You've got Enuinto, who one-on-one situations and speed. KK before, similar conversations. Daniel Russo, and then the set piece. So what was once one or two things available for selection in the offensive third in 2021, now 2 years running, you're looking at 6, maybe even 7. Again, the idea for this team is, all due respect to everybody around the ACC and college soccer, can they complete the treble? That's where my mind starts to veer for them, because they have the capability. Consistency is their biggest asset, because this team just steps on the pitch and they can be at the highest of highs and run people off the field, and at the lowest of lows and still find a way to win. You and I saw it a couple of matches back against Wake. They weren't at their best, and yet they still found a way to get out of there unscathed.
They ended up with a 1-1 draw after going down in that match in the second half as Russo picks himself up off the deck. But that's the word practicality. I thought it was interesting that Chad Riley used that. Like, sometimes we got to be practical in our approach, and we're not playing well. The game dictates we do something different. Channeled Carlo Ancelotti and said, hey, you can't make the game something it's not. You got to play the game that comes to you at times. And great Real Madrid coach having an influence here in South Bend. Dink it around the corner to bat 4, doesn't come off. Georgalitis battling and wins the free kick. I mentioned that 2-2 game between Duke and Clemson. They're about to get a penalty, the Tigers are. Tyler Trimnell drawing the penalty. Man, he has been integral. Man usually plays off the bench. Impactful, 2 goals, an own goal, and now drawing a pen. Here's an opportunity here, potentially. Cut it back. Barker John, that's the guy they wanted to have on their foot. But he's kind of ushered to the sideline. As you mentioned, he's been really hot as of late, Devin. 4 goals, 2 assists in his last 6 games. 9 goals, 2 assists in his last 11. Queens native.
This is the type of player that, when at his best, you're looking at what could be one of the best players in the country. He's got that type of capability. The problem is we haven't seen that form over the course of his tenure so far. The Louisville Cardinals would say that, on the depth chart last year, just had to fight his way back through. A couple of more players, but he was still the leading scorer back in 2020, the USL Academy Championship. Part of the ICC Futures team back in 2018 for NYCFC.
Flicked on, and Dowd grabs it.
It's probably the biggest thing is the left foot. You can play him on the right, play him on the left, and John Michael Hayden does a really good job of finding a way, especially the last 8 games, of getting him involved. When the system changed, one of the biggest things that I probably would have said that I didn't like was getting him a bit more central. Damian Barker-John at his best, you'll see he gets out to the wing and he just runs at people. Catching defenders flat-footed, creating space for himself and for others around him. On the left-hand side tonight against Hennenbacher, tends to stay a bit more reserved compared to Batty Burns, so more difficult to break down.
Bryce Bonneau heads up, former National Gatorade Player of the Year. 13 in the middle of your screen. scoops it up. Over to Paddy Burns, a senior from Northern Ireland. Has captained his youth national team in major competitions to bat for. And toe, cleared by big Josh Jones. Baffar trying to turn. Elliott does not. Back to Svetnov, and Clemson capitalized on the penalty. Sam Meinhard gets the goal. The Tigers, who are up 1-0, then down 2-1, now up 3-2 in the first overtime. They will play the remaining 16 minutes, though. They've got 6 minutes left of the first overtime, and the second overtime will be played in its entirety. Arnaud draws the foul, and Axel Alejandre, the transfer from UNC, getting into it a bit. Senior from Chicago. Making his third straight start.
Yeah, Alejandre and Bradley Sample just struggling right now to find a way to eliminate some of the balls coming through the middle. I'd say most of it is actually just hustle, and it's this team, man. Ethan O'Brien, Bryce Minot, creating good depth within those two, really challenging the shape on the inside for Louisville. They've kept them to the exterior mostly, but that initial ball coming right through the middle is what's going to scare them the most in John Michael Hayden right now.
Baffar strolled offside. Nice control by Burns, finds the feet of Bono. Russo around the corner to Baffar. O'Brien. Oh, nice flick on by Russo, but Jones read it well and kind of bodied off Ento.
Credit to the Peanut Gallery for the Fighting Irish, available in full force tonight.
I love it. Are we going to kick it long? We're going to kick it long. 52 degrees there, chilly night in South Bend, but fans out in force to support their #1 seeded team. Actually, 52 at night in South Bend. That's not that chilly, huh? That's okay.
It's summer at this time of year.
I mean, I'd have 8 hand warmers on me, but that's different. I'm soft.
Yeah, they gotta figure out
goes
what...
back. And J.C. Griggs may have a word with him. It's a little persistent infringement. And here's that talking to.
It's the same conversation, though. It's still Bradley Sample and Axel Alejandre sitting deep, and you know they're keeping the wingers outside, which I fully respect. That's how you're going to get out of this when you start to build going the other way. But Konstantinos Georgaslides isn't deep enough, and so you're getting Daniel Russo dropping off the front line, who's either coming right in front of them or in between them to play off of. And same thing, Ethan O'Brien, Bryce Minot, just one drops off, one steps up. Quickly, you create a 3-man midfield, 3v2, easy to play through it.
Guerra trying to spark a counter. Can't happen. Ramsey's cleared out by Georgaslides. And quick restart, but going to be pulled back by Griggs. Green, the sophomore, trying to dance around defenders. He does ride the challenge well. Bono sprays it out to Burns. Size advantage that Jones has over Bafor and Ento is impressive. 6'5", Josh Jones stands the center back. And body is down, and Griggs calls a foul. Josh Ramsey, this kid's career has been outstanding. 58 games played for Ramsey, 56 starts. He has locked down that center back spot, littered with juniors and seniors on that team in 2021 as a freshman. His all-ACC freshman team started every game last year, and this year he started 16 to 17. Daniel Russo didn't get it wide, but Elliott there first. And man, that Duke and Clemson game, stuff is going on. Duke just scored again to equalize in the first overtime. Olfer Bjornsson. Joseph Van Dama made a great save, but the rebound, Bjornsson puts it away. 3-3 now, as they're poised eventually to swoop ahead to the second OT. Green looking back post, overhit it. Bafor keeps it in. It's Brandon McManus coming all the way back to defend, the right winger. Bafor skipped through, no call there. Crowd doesn't like it. Oh, Bono cleaned out late by Parker Forbes, and that is going to be our first card of the day, and Forbes earned that one.
I'd actually go down into the corner of the first one with Kepe Vafor, who did such a good job. Just on the little cutback across. Welcome to the game. Thank you so much. I thought there was a little bit of contact, though. Quentin Elliott pulls out at the tail end. Parker Forbes on the switch. Hey, you can't do that. It's still a no-no.
Yeah, Forbes, the redshirt sophomore, Texas. Easy call for J.C. Griggs. So it's your first yellow of the match on the left back for the Cards. Chance to play it in for O'Brien. You can hear the bench yelling, attack, Gage, attack. He's going to do that. White shirts are getting back. Guerra, a little dip of the shoulder, maintains possession, then Ramsey rides him off nicely.
I mean, Josh Ramsey just making it look so simple. Left center back for Notre Dame. Talk about the amount of numbers that he's put onto this back line and Iron Man-like status. A unicorn, if you will, with the left foot and a defender. They're hoping that someone quite similar that could be considered a unicorn on the attacking side of things, Sander Rode, who steps in for Konstantinos Georgalitis, can get himself going.
Rode comes right in and makes his presence felt. His first touch of the ball, a volley from 20-plus yards. Showing you why he was first team All-League last year. He can simply change games in a second.
There's no question about talent for Sander Rode. It's about the best positioning in a specific play and an open run of form, where to find him. But in this one, none of that. This is all about individual brilliance. The ball that spills out to the top of the 18. As an attacker, all you're trying to do is, as you bring your body across, drop that left shoulder, redirect this into the bottom corner. Picture perfect. Cardinals off and running.
Wow. What an entry, and as you said, a guy that's coming in that might be able to do something different. The unicorn is the word you used, but talking about Rode, holy moly, does he enter the game. The Norwegian, third team All-ACC his freshman year, first team last year. They've had problems finding him where to put on the field and if he was the best fit to be on the field at times with this team as they were trying to turn things around. Well, for the moment being, he has changed this game. His third goal of the campaign.
He's quite the technically gifted player, Sander Rode, who a lot of times you'll see drifting out to that right-hand flank, combination play. Good relationships he's developed over the years, but you nailed it. Where's the best spot for him and at the right time? We did see him pick up a couple assists against Wake Forest, but I've maintained that in order for him to continue to take the next step in his career, you got to find more goals because he's in so many advantageous positions and he hasn't been able to capitalize on it. So because of it, he floats in and out of games. He's a very mentally infused player that if you don't continue to provide him confidence, he drifts out. Well, pretty sure he's quite confident now after that brilliant strike.
That was a heck of a shot. 9-1-2 on the campaign, the Cards are when they score first. Now, bear in mind, their last regular season game, one of those draws was to Wake Forest. They were up 2-1 in that game. Shouldn't say they did not score first, but up 2-1 in that game. Ended 2-2. Notre Dame, on the other hand, 1-1-2 when opponent scores first. Rhodes scored just 18 seconds after coming onto the pitch. It was his first touch. And off a volley. Not like an easy thing to do.
I'm just a little disappointed he couldn't keep it in the air the entire time, you know?
You're a hard judge, my friend. Yeah. Let's take a look at it again. It's worth many looks. Might be in SportsCenter top 10.
Oh. It's just the difficulty is so off the charts here because he's backing up. He's got to then plant that left foot, bring his right foot across his body, make clean contact, continue that momentum of the ball to drift away from him, put enough pace on it to beat the goalkeeper, all with about 37 defenders in front of him.
And now, ball played through and off a Notre Dame defender gives the Cards a corner. Chance to capitalize. Rode trots out. 6 assists on the season. Tied for 7th in the ACC. 19 on his career. 6th all-time in a Card career. Good ball played in. That's us. Elliott lining up for a long throw. Over the head of Josh Jones. Headed down by Bono first, and the feet of Eno Ento, the Derby, England native. Russo. Nice tackle by Bradley Sample. Sample's a staple. This is his 87th college game for Bradley Sample. 5th year at UL. Number 13 in black there in the middle of your screen. And Alejandro pulled down and given his, what's happened here today, that you knew he was going to book.
I'd make the argument that he probably deserved it without the infractions that he had picked up previously.
Mm-hmm.
Just in from behind. Trying to pick the pocket of KK Bafour, who's so clever when he wants to be. And cutting to the interior is where he seems to be most comfortable for the Fighting Irish, especially because his running mate, Patty Burns, gets so high when they get into possession. Allows them the ability to play down into the channel off the defender.
Burns pops it over to Bafour. It's a good cross. Might fall to Russo. It does! Green with another shot. Deflected out, though. I thought Russo would hit that first time. play it in again. Before arriving, nice touch. Bo Williams, the big center back's up there now. They didn't call it out. If you watch the Arsenal-Newcastle game, you learn from that. Play to the whistle. Nolan Spicer checks in, the freshman from Ohio. Ohio Gatorade Player of the Year last year. Two-time state champ in his 15th appearance. And David Bacuzzo comes in for Axel Alejandre and his yellow card. Bacuzzo, the sophomore Orlando City SC Academy product. Making his 18th appearance. He's made 12 starts, so he started the majority of the season, but as they've moved some formations and changed some things, Bacuzzo in and out of that starting lineup.
And David Bacuzzo just gives you a bit more of an advancement within the midfield. Axel Alejandre and Bradley Sample really started to work well together, but they also get flat the way that they were set up in that 3-5-2 that was really a triangle within the midfield. Now all of a sudden, you're trying to change that. Up 1-0, you have Sander Road on it. You basically have stepping stones within the midfield that goes from Bradley Sample to Bacuzzo to Sander Road. Makes the two-headed monster of Ethan O'Brien and Bryce Bonneau work even harder than they've had to since the change with Sander Road.
Bryan prevailed with that ball, got it to Ento. Bafor, good ball played in. Headed out by Bryce LaBelle. Oh, there's stalwarts on the back line. Genenbacher. And Genenbacher goes right through Barker John's back. Clemson and Duke are in over the second overtime, still 3-3 there in South Carolina. Winner of that game gets the winner of this game. Semifinal Wednesday night on ACC Network. Sample flicks onto Barker John. Deb, what are your thoughts of this game? Because Notre Dame has controlled most of the ball. Just give me your take on where we've been here the first 30 minutes.
I would say that the home team was certainly the better squad for the opening 20 minutes. The issue was the midfield, as we've talked about multiple times for the visitors.
Russo, though, running into some space. And pass behind Burns. Jones comes over, kind of goes through the back of Russo, no call.
Some of the decision-making just eluding the Fighting Irish within that same window. And I understand it's the goal, and I respect that for Sander Road, but to me, it's still just the view that he gives you in general. He's working harder than Georgalitis was on the inside, and so that allows the two guys underneath within the midfield, who are currently Bradley Sample and David Bacuzzo, to have more freedom, because you're not chasing as much defensively, and when you are winning the ball, you've got more space to work with. I would like to see more out of the outside backs for Notre Dame. Balance, though, because we've seen a lot out of Genenbacher. I don't think we've seen enough of Patty Burns, and that's where this team really excels, because it's right, it's left, they keep you guessing. Right now it seems a bit one-dimensional when we're talking about the two outside backs. Otherwise, they've created enough. Decision-making still lacking, but they've certainly advanced themselves enough to get better opportunities. But the brilliance that was Sander Road is still the separation.
Yeah, one moment of brilliance by Road, 18 seconds in him coming into the game is the difference right now. Similar to the first game we had, Ahmad Al-Kwak came on, and within 8 minutes, though, he changed that game, and that's the only goal in North Carolina wake that mattered. North Carolina won 1-0 and moves on to take on Syracuse in the semifinal on Wednesday. Bacuzzo trying to spin out of some trouble, cleaned out by Russo. Elliott skips around a couple defenders, gets it switched out wide to Barker John. First time pass to Rode. Crossed over. Just too tall for Gage Guerra, but that would have been something.
It's about the ball from Quentin Elliott and understanding that they moved him from the left flank all the way over to the right with the addition of Parker Forbes over the past couple of games. And Quentin Elliott loves to drive inside and then hit that long switch, but he's right-footed. He's so used to cutting back in and then having the momentum. So hitting a couple of these with his insteps has to make sure that he's got enough lead time for these players because he's unaccustomed to where the ball's going to set himself up on the quick cutback across.
J.C. Griggs having a word with Enoento and Ryan Dowd, Brandon McManus in the little goal mouth. Outswinging ball headed by Williams, but to the feet of Sample. Just clipped it back toward the penalty spot. He did score a goal from just outside the 18 against Wake Forest in their last regular season game. Rode first time pass to Barker John. Oh, Barker John doing his thing. Oh, takes some contact. J.C. Griggs waves it away. Appeals from Louisville players.
That was the quick footwork from Barker John. First one, yes. Second one, you know what? Thought there was contact initially, but he actually starts to initiate it himself. He leans after the first infraction, and he was able to work himself through. Some kind of ball, by the way, from Saunders Road plucked out of midair to set him up.
Again, ACC experimental review rules that can only be reviewed if the penalty is first given. If it's not given, there will be no review. So we played on. Nolan Spicer. Russo. Spicer's touch was heavy. Finds Russo then. Again, though. Quick feet, trying to get a shot off. He does! Svetnov is there, though. A senior from New Jersey working hard. But Svetnov was equal to the task.
He's doing everything he can to try and get it back onto his left foot, and that first touch right there failed him. You wanted this ball to continue back across, and as it popped back out for Daniel Russo, well done to continue. As he comes here on the stop, he's got no power whatsoever because he's got to stop it, then set himself, and your body's already leaning. To stop your momentum and get enough power on it, almost impossible. Still impressively done.
Matthew Radavoisa just checked in, and he won the corner in a little battle with Saunders Road. Daniel Russo, as we know. Well, LaRusso always would fight out of the locker room. So does Russo.
3 years running, it's never getting old, my friend.
I feel like I just have to fit it in. It's just such a classic movie. From the corner. Headed out in a foot race is Bryce LaBelle, and he wins it. Duke and Clemson have concluded the second half of overtime. Both teams scored, and they are going to Penn's there at historic Riggs Field. Winner of our game gets the winner of that 3-3 thriller. Out wide to Russo. Drives it in. Played out by Sample, and now McManus running hard. There's Guerra still in the game, 9 in black. Dowd controls. Just works LaBelle. LaBelle got away with a little pull of the jersey there, too. Dafour, nice switch to Burns. First time pass, and Radavoisa. Man, Josh Jones is always there to clean stuff up.
Very good anticipation by Josh Jones on the back line. One of our players to watch coming in for Louisville. Had a leg injury this preseason that saw him miss the first 3 games after an incredible summer of training. Just the height is one thing for sure, and set pieces to take advantage of it, but his anticipation, IQ to read the game and break things down where maybe top speed he's not going to be able to catch you, but he's already 3 steps ahead of you, and he plays the ankle game so well as a center back.
And he is agile, not the quickest, but I mean, former basketball player, all-state player in Pennsylvania, averaged 22 and 8 his senior year. 8 rebounds. Just clarify, 6'5" game.
Appreciate you.
Great ball played forward. Could be run onto. First time shot. Pulled just wide. Ethan Subachan had a chance. The freshman from Florida, Orlando City, had a chance to make it 2-0.
I'm surprised he doesn't let this come back across his body a little bit further. It's a beautiful header. But if you allow it to come a little further, it comes across and you can hit it more clean. The way that it sits up for him, watch it just drop right inside his shoulders and he comes across it. You take momentum off it and your body immediately pulls it. Brian Dowd was right there the entire time. Not even sure if that's on target, if it actually ends up in the back of the net because of the perfect positioning by the goalkeeper.
That keeps it at a 1-0 game. And Subachan, who came on for Guerra, almost made a difference in this game pretty quickly, just like Sander Rode came in for Louisville, made a difference. John Michael Hayden has said this is the most talented team he's ever been a part of at Louisville, and he was there under Ken Lola when they had won 2 ACC titles and had tons of pros. He really believes in this squad when fully healthy, and they're getting there. And Spicer going to be called for the undercut on Sample. Chad Riley looks on. 3-time All Big East player in his own right at Notre Dame. 4-time Ivy winner when he was coaching at Dartmouth. He's already won this conference in his 6th year, and his 4th year actually when he won it in 2021. Rode hooks it in. 2 center backs, Williams and Jones, battling that out. Williams won it. Flicked on, good control. Spicer charging forward. Russo dragged down by Subachan, and that'll be the 3rd card in the book.
Seems like every challenge we've seen tonight has been from behind, although this one, a little bit of forechecking by Ethan Subachan. Coveted freshman that could have really ended up anywhere in the ACC. You talk to the coaches who recruited him.
Part of the USU 19 setup, Orlando City. Very good youth career. A lot of games off the bench for him. Now Louisville floated in. Svetnov right into his breadbasket. Rode plays Jones at a bit of a tough spot, but good control by the big fella. O'Brien back to Ramsey. Crowd liking KK Bafor's quick feet. Oh, nice flick. Radavoisa lets it go. Saved by Svetnov.
That's how quick it is for the Fighting Irish. Just one side to the other. Beautiful touch in behind, and then they're off and running. When they want to be, they can be extremely dynamic coming forward. We talk about their level of efficiency, how good they are on the defensive front, but these attackers have tons of ideas, and all the rotation from teams like Duke and Clemson can be reproduced here in South Bend.
Svetnov claims the corner. Ball falls to Spicer. Back to Radavoisa. But no. Svetnov off his line to claim it.
Really figured it out that far side with Patty Burns. They've had KK Bafor, Sebastian Green, Radavoisa, all on that left-hand side, and the whole idea is to be able to get him further up, certainly in possession, but also in those overlapping runs that provide such great service into the box. Unfortunately, the way that they've caught him, he's kind of halfway there, halfway out, so he gets stuck. You don't have the overlapping run. You get narrow in your width, and you basically lose the ability to build on that far side of the field.
Barker John working, losing that battle.
It's just got to be quicker. One side to the other. Better communication. Start the run half a second earlier. The finest of margins, removing the ability for the Fighting Irish to advance themselves up the pitch.
Play back. And Rode, first time shot right into Dowd's hands, and he breathes a sigh of relief as Louisville could have taken a 2-0 lead into the break. Sonder Rode, the goal scorer in the middle. J.C. Griggs is our center official. We're underway. Second 45. Notre Dame unbeaten in ACC play this season. First time they've ever accomplished that in their tenure in this conference. Alongside Devin Kerr, I'm Dallin Cuff. Winner advances to take on Clemson in the semifinals, the ACC Men's Soccer Championship, Wednesday night. If Louisville wins, Clemson will be hosting. If Notre Dame wins, Clemson will be on the plane to South Bend. Sonder Rode, back to Damian Barker-John, one of the most informed strikers in the country. It's at the shot, but it's deflected. Brian Dowd scoops it up. Barker-John, 9 goals, 2 assists the last 11 games, coming off a pit game, which was insane in the overtime. In 2 minutes and 21 seconds, 3 goals were scored and a red card was handed out. Barker-John had a goal from 60 yards out and an assist. Really, it kept Louisville's season alive, Devin.
I was going to say, and then it got interesting, right? Since the goals and the red card. to kind of kick them into high gear for a player in Damian Barker-John, who just to fathom, or try to at least understand what his output has been over those last 11 games that you mentioned with 9 goals and 2 assists. His previous 24 appearances, just 1 goal and 3 assists. The guy just needed an opportunity and was stuck on the depth chart. When you got guys like Sander Rode and Gage Guerra and Konstantinos Georgilidis performing at a high level, it's difficult to break through. But a silver lining for this Louisville squad that you get form from Damian Barker-John, you get great goals, but more importantly, the biggest thing from John Michael Hayden was they had the belief that the confidence was restored to a team that went 6 games unbeaten and was top 5 in the country to start the year.
Yeah, their year has been an odyssey. You just mentioned that great start, 6 unbeaten. They were number 5 in the nation. Then have injuries to Gage Guerra, who had scored 6 goals in 7 games and was leading scorer of the nation at one point in time. Georgilidis, you mentioned, trying to look for Rode. And they go through a dip in form, and when you look at where they're at now in terms of the RPI rankings, the ACC's got the most teams in the top 25. They're in a great spot. They're in a great spot and set up. The problem is Louisville coming before that Pitt game, they were 44th in the RPI. And to feel good, you got to feel okay. In the mid-30s makes you feel okay. Low 40s is very risky territory. And they get that win. This is before the win against Pitt. So that moves them up theoretically, not per the official NCAA rankings. Probably puts them in the 30s range. Devin, if they win this game, they're in. But if they don't, how would you feel if you're John Michael Hayden? Now, I shouldn't put words in your mouth. If they win this game, are they in?
If they win this game, they're guaranteed in. There's no question about that. I would say that if it was their opening game in the ACC tournament in general against Notre Dame, though that's not possible because of the resume that Notre Dame brings to the table and the opening bye. There's a real interesting website called RPIUpdateMen'sSoccer.com, and this is sort of the unofficial website that most college coaches around the country keep an eye on. It tracks results almost up to date instantaneously. Now, sometimes it's 24 hours lagged. Right now, it's got Louisville sitting at number 30 coming into the night. Now, I took a look at the breakdown from 31 all the way till 55. There is some fluctuation there that could allow them to drop. But to your point, if they get a result tonight, it's not a question whatsoever. I would just say make it easy, because I would hate to leave it in the hands of the committee of what could have been when you could just cement it right now. Still find it interesting that they're at 30, which gives me the idea that even if they don't get a result tonight, they still have a very good chance considering what we've seen in previous years.
Rode strikes and it's 2! Can you believe it? Again, showing you why he's a first-team All-League player. Struggled to find his team coming off the bench. Has a moment of brilliance in the first half, and this one just slots it past Notre Dame keeper Brian Dowd.
As good as Notre Dame is on the attacking end from restarts, they've only given up 1 goal from a set piece, and I understand this is a second chance, but is this the handball? They don't call it. Sander Rode, a benefactor of the touch coming right off that upper extremity as it bounces right in front of him. And then just the calming presence as he slows down. Nobody steps to him. Now credit to the attacker to so calmly put this down into the bottom corner, but he's got all that space and the ability to just continue the run forward. No one stepping off the back line. No one closing the space down for Sander Rode that allows them to get the double. And I tell you, the first look, I thought it was a handball. The second one, I'm not so sure. Remember, it's the bottom of the armpit, basically your jersey. That's a better look. Thought it caught his arm. Then I thought it was the shoulder, but that is 100% off the left hand. Again, different angles have given us different views. It's the left hand. Should have gone the other way, but shoulda, woulda, coulda. And right now, for the moment, Louisville up 2-0.
Wow. Sometimes better to be lucky than good. Well, Sander Rode is both of them right now, as he has 2 goals for the first time in his career as a junior at Louisville. First team All-ACC last year, 3rd team All-ACC in his freshman campaign, and has come on this game and has changed it right away. He scored 18 seconds into coming into the match, folks. It was his first touch. It was a beautiful volley goal to put him up 1-0, and there he finishes cool as calm as you like. Let's see what Notre Dame's response is now They've only allowed 2 second-half goals all year. Coming into today's match, as Williams is down hard now. Grad student transfer from Cincinnati and Seton Hall after that.
Don, you say the second-half goals. They've only allowed 2 goals in a game once prior, and that was against Clemson back on September 9th, and ended up being a 3-2 victory. Their loss was 1-0 the following match at home against Michigan State. They are in unfamiliar territory, and all of a sudden, the attacking ideas that were not trying to figure out a way to break down this back line has jumped right to the forefront for Notre Dame. Got to up the ante now.
Notre Dame unbeaten in their last 10 games. Say up the ante. What response are you expecting in terms of what Notre Dame can do to really create better quality chances? Because they have not had many.
I would start with just the belief within the depth and the leadership that Chad Riley has talked to us all season long about the reason they're in this position, because so many guys were here last year, but they've got the belief that they've seen it, done it, they've kind of been through it. College Cup in 21, so many returners in 22 that didn't pan out, and you know, their aha moment that was the Duke game last season that all of a sudden has seen them take on this idea that we are going to beat you down in every way, shape, and form. Well, when you give up an early goal to Saunders Road, you start to question yourself. They shouldn't. Even on the second one here. Level of creation, one-on-one opportunities, being cleaner on the ball. I said to you, the midfield lost the plot. Well, what that does is it puts more pressure on the attackers up top. If they remove themselves, now you're asking guys to go it alone. That's not what this team is about. This team is about a collective. You got to advance the midfield and then work off of each other.
They've never trailed by 2 goals all year. Tough time to do it in the ACC championship quarterfinal. And Barker John dispossesses Bonneau as he fell down. Manis runs it back. John Michael Hayden said at halftime we'd like to have more possession. They definitely would like to have more possession now, up 2-0. Take the air out of the game a bit. Alex Svetnov trying to find Barker John and eventually gets to his feet. He's got his head up. Leaves it for Bakuza. Charging forward, McManus. First time ball up, looking for Road! Hat trick hero! Oh, he can't stop scoring and he'll take a yellow because he's taking his shirt off. He doesn't care. Said they gotta win to go to the tourney. He just might have done it himself.
Saunders Road All-ACC freshman team. All-ACC overall. This is all-world performance from the attacking midfielder. Total football. Side to side, the vertical threats. This is something they were very specific about in the formational change, how they wanted to be more vertical. Well, you go back to the unit that got you 6 games unbeaten. Some kind of ball put on a platter here by Brandon McManus, but the nerve to take this in stride, out of the air, opposite corner by Saunders Road. Just 5 collegiate goals coming into the night. 3 on the evening. What a performance.
It's been 6 years since Louisville's seen a player have a hat trick, and Road does it in a situation as John Michael Hayden has described to us. It's do or die. It's survive in advance mode. We've been in it for weeks now. In tournament mode, we've just continued to be in that. And we've grown comfortable in it, and the results show it. They drew against Wake 2-2, who's a top 5 RPI team. They won at Pitt, who's a top 25 RPI team, and now they are up 3-0 at the #1 team in the RPI in Notre Dame, and a team that has not lost all year in ACC play. And to say Notre Dame's got to do this too, we have not mentioned this in a bit, Devin, without Matthew Rue. You talk about options up top. Rue is their leading scorer and picked up an injury in training yesterday, we were told. So for the 10-goal star who's got a crutch under his arm, that is not what you want to see. He, along with Eno Ento, have combined to both score 10 goals. That hasn't happened at Notre Dame in over a decade. And that is unfortunate. That without Rue, how different, or is this team different without Rue, Devin?
They are different. Matt Rue he scraps and fights and puts in a work rate up top that's very difficult to equate without actually seeing it, because he occupies so much space. He's not the biggest of players, Matt Rue, at just 5'10", but he's constantly going because his engine is always running. So he gets onto the center backs, he drags you down into the corner, and while you still get good work ethic out of this team overall, it does change the overall look. Ento, much more of a one-on-one player, whereas Matt Rue fights for those scraps and is really good at timing his runs to get on the end of it. You've lost that. But even underneath, I would say that you've lost some of that overall vision that allows you to get into those spots to begin with. Still maintain that if you can get the midfield back into this game, you can find a way to go and at least get one goal back to restore some belief. As deep as they are right now, it's been very difficult for them to maintain control. That's why you've seen David Bacuzzo and Bradley Sample holding their own.
Trying to find that through ball to Ento. Owen Spicer harassing Bradley Sample. ACC today showing off the parity within this league. This would be the third of 4 lower seeds to win the quarterfinal matchups. And of course, those 3 are all on the road, but it ain't over yet. Ento takes a shot from Bryce LaBelle, but say it was shoulder to shoulder. Looking in for Green, arriving just over his head. First time shot from O'Brien. Body shape is out of whack.
Substitutions entering the ditch for Notre Dame, number 16.
Again, some of these challenges that are flying around right now for the Notre Dame players on them. I would immediately argue that, okay, you go with the shoulder charge. The difference is Ento starts to turn his body. As he turns the torso, it looks like he's coming in from behind. That's where the subjectivity of the referee's viewpoint starts to really make you question, okay, well, why doesn't he call it there? Well, from his angle, it looks like he's one-on-one and he's got the shoulder charge. From a different angle, it looks like it's coming from behind.
Wyatt Lewis checks in for Ethan O'Brien. So J.C. Griggs got that call right in your estimation, no penalty, or wrong?
No, I'm with him. I don't think it's a penalty because of the fact that his body starts to turn himself. If he continues kind of straight up and allows the challenge to come across his body, I still feel that that's probably a 50-50 shoulder charge.
Spicer leaves it for O'Brien. O'Brien's shot high and wide. Lewis comes in. Wyatt Lewis, a sophomore from St. Louis, makes his 15th appearance on the year, replaces O'Brien. And KK Batfor comes back in for Sebastian Green. Damian Barker-John goes out for Konstantinos Georgalitis for Louisville. Also, Gaetano D'Argento comes in for Parker Forbes. D'Argento 2 in black. Lewis on the ball, his first few touches. Gage Guerra also came back in for Ethan Subachan. Oh. Dangerous tackle there by Bradley Sample. And Sample, the seasoned veteran, will take a yellow there.
Don, I couldn't tell you how many times we've seen this many cards from a restricted position coming in from behind. That's very dangerous. And fortunate that you don't cause an injury in that situation. If you're Bradley Sample, understand why he goes to ground, because you're laying chase and you feel like if you are going to make any sort of challenge on the ball, it's got to be there at the last-ditch effort, even though you've got support in front of you.
Sample in his 87th appearance, 82nd start for Louisville, his 5 years of service. Batfor to take it. 13 of 36 goals for Notre Dame this year on set pieces. Bafour still waiting for J.C. Griggs to blow the whistle. Green light given. Headed out by Elliott for corner.
Corner given by Harris, taking the minority number 16, KK Bafour.
And Bafour is subbed at this. Nope, not subbed. Owen Spicer now will take it. Bafour stays short. Floated high. Russo gets it off the bar. Svetnov claims.
Dear Lord, if this doesn't encapsulate what the night has been like for the Fighting Irish. No magic. Down 3-0. Good ball in. Certainly not wide open area for Daniel Russo coming on the back shoulder run of Josh Jones, but does a really good job to redirect it up over the goalkeeper. And the woodwork with the kiss of death.
And this is not what you want to see. Gage Guerra, who did not play since the Evansville game in September 19th, picked up an injury, was out until October 27th. That game against Wake Forest. He is there, leads the line, the Army transfer. First team All-Patriot League last year, Offensive Player of the Year in that league, then comes here and has 6 goals in his first 7 games. He's on fire, but had a foot injury, and now he's down again.
To your point, Dallin, the good news in this situation would be that they didn't seem to be working on his foot. I understand that contradicts what you're seeing in your screen right now as they stretch his leg out a little bit, but there was more so on the backside of the calf and the knee. To be a fly on the wall in that huddle right now with John Michael Hayden. Up 3-0 against one of the top teams in the country, certainly the #1 team in ACC.
I mean, this result holds. You'd see the top 2 teams in the conference go down at home. 2 division winners. Wake Forest went down 1-0 to North Carolina. And now Notre Dame on the precipice of suffering a similar fate here. And that's when you start to look at the NCAA tournament resumes. We talked about this before. The top 16 seeds in the NCAA tournament get a bye in the first round. If you're a top 4 seed, like Notre Dame was when the committee revealed their rankings a couple weeks ago, you can host all the way up until the College Cup. So this would potentially impact Notre Dame's resume as it relates to being one of those teams. They're definitely in the top 16. I would think Wake is as well, but being a top 4 seed, what would the prospects be there, Devin?
Well, there are a couple of different changes that you might run into if the conference tournaments play themselves out the way you might think they would. So you take a look at the initial rankings. Now understand, when these came out, it was a couple of weeks ago, right? So it's, okay, here's the committee. It's the top 16. It's as of October 18th. A lot has gone on between now and then. At that point in time, it was Marshall, UCF, Notre Dame, and SMU. Well, Marshall have lost 2 games in that time frame. West Virginia have lost 2. UCF has gone to #1 in the coaches poll. Everybody's kind of looking around going, okay, great. Well, who wants to take the reins on this thing? We've still got umpteen conference tournaments to play. So you could play yourself out of it if you're Wake Forest to get into the top 4, if you're Notre Dame. But you could also be playing yourself into it if you're an FIU team, a Clemson squad that was sitting at 9 at that point in time, an SMU team that was sitting right there on the cusp at 4, Georgetown coming out of the Big East. There's so many different teams and so many games yet to go to figure out exactly who's going to step in. Very difficult to judge.
Take a breather here, tell you about college basketball season. Starts in about 18 hours. We got you covered with ACC PM in Blacksburg from 3 to 5 Eastern to get you set for the night. We got great games. The women's side, 8th ranked Virginia Tech, coming off a Final Four team, take on High Point, followed by a men's doubleheader. The number 19 Tar Heels host Radford, and then number 2 Duke, with 4 starters back, which hasn't happened in over a decade. Host Dartmouth. Will wrap up the night with the Nothing But Net crew in Durham What a way to tip off the season right here on ACC Network and the ESPN app. And if you're looking for a good early season basketball game, folks, too, beyond the ones tomorrow night, Duke does play Arizona on Friday night at ESPN2. That is going to be a heck of a game. Sonder Road walks over to take the corner. Road, the hat-trick hero, also has a yellow card for his troubles as he took off his... He geared down for a second there, took off his shirt to celebrate. Outswinging ball, cleared. The Norway native grew up in an academy in the third tier of soccer over there. He's had a stellar career here. In Louisville, 19 assists, 6th in the history of Louisville, but he only had 2 goals coming into this game on the season. Well, he's got 3 in today's game. He had 3 in 30 minutes of play across 2 halves.
When I said to you that we were coming in talking about Damian Barker-John, 11 from Louisville Cardinals, operating on that left-hand flank, how when he fancies himself, he can be one of the best. Sonder Road, right there in that same conversation.
First time. Wow. And there's appeals for a handball on Georgalides' shot.
He doesn't call it, so he's got a pretty good argument, though, doesn't he? Watch the left arm.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. 12 yards out would have been correct.
Up for him, would have been body unnatural. Yeah, up in an unnatural position, making his body bigger. It kind of ticked all the boxes, but there is no VAR review for that in college soccer if the penalty is not given. Road with all day to set up a delivery. Wyatt Lewis skipping around. Georgalides. Bono to Bafour. White jerseys teaming forward. Pacuzzo tried to commit the yellow card offense. And Jones eventually is cleared out.
Lack of ideas here for the Irish coming forward. Just notice how narrow they are, even with the run coming right up through the gut. Good defending on the backside. Notice the peek over the shoulder. Quentin Elliott eliminates it. Josh Jones steps up in, but even though you've got 2 separate runners right in front of you, they're all 5 yards apart. I mean, this is where you got to start making darting runs, dragging that back line with you, crossing patterns, bending your run to open up space and more opportunities, if not for the ball carrier, for yourself. And instead, very one-dimensional for the Irish so far.
Bono sends it forward. Ento trying to win the race with LaBelle. He does not. Spicer, heavy touch, but holds it in play. Freshman from Ohio. Back to Lewis. Bafour on the edge of the area. Strikes it. Oh, right in the chest of Jones. First time ball played, tracking back nicely by Genenbacher. Bell clips it forward, looking for Gage. It's good to see Gage Garrett back in the match. Just a little treatment, but he's still getting... Devin, in a game like this, up 3-0, the guy that's nursing an injury, is it good to play him for just because he's got to get his fitness back? Is that's the concern now?
The idea is just to continue, for game moments to try and push that threshold higher and higher, because again, you walk this fine line of, okay, we don't want to overstep and re-injure him, though with a foot injury, they most likely didn't put him back into a spot that would have jeopardized that.
Shot taken by Ento, deflects off and out for a corner.
So the workload that he's going to experience up 3-0, it's not going to be intense pressing. You allow him to just gain what we would almost call saddle time, the ability to just get minutes underneath his belt to continue to push the endurance argument.
Brian comes in for Ento. Ento, very interesting youth career. Derby County, a championship club, played in some Youth Champions League matches as well. Stop, and there's a shot, a goal! Genenbacher. But here comes J.C. Griggs, just getting in the mix, trying to stop any extracurricular activities like Louisville went through with Pitt the other day. But Genenbacher just may have breathed life into this game.
Bryce Bonneau, watch how class this is. 13 right at the top of the 6. After the deflection, not trying to be selfish. Again, this is about a team mentality, working together. And as this thing pings off of him, just so understanding of where the best threat is going to come from. Drops it right in front for Genenbacher, puts it on a platter, just laces his instep into the bottom corner. They're off and running. Don't call it a comeback, but a momentum swinger nonetheless.
Crowd comes to life. Irish players coming to life and maybe putting a little bit of game pressure back on Louisville.
The Notre Dame goal scored by number 5, Kyle Genenbacher. The assistants for 13, Bryce Bonneau, and number 15, Patty Burns. 5 Irish goal, 5 Genenbacher from 13 Bonneau and 15 Burns in the 66th minute.
Guerra tries the cross, deflected by Williams. Rode working with Patty Burns, loses that battle. Ball stays in. Burns just kind of hooks it back into play. And Elliott went through the back of Bafor. Bonneau skipping around defenders, finds O'Brien. O'Brien wheeling back around. And Elliott pokes it off of O'Brien and out. So you go into 23 minutes left here from South Bend. Alongside Devin Kerr, I'm Dallin Cuff. 3-1. The number 9 seed, Louisville, over the number 1 seed and number 2 team in the nation, the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. Louisville coming into this game had just beaten Pitt in the opening round of the ACC Men's Soccer Championship, and were still on the bubble as it relates to the NCAA tournament. They knew if they won today, they would be in. They are in control of doing that, but they did just cede a goal to cut their advantage to 3-1 after the hat trick by Sonder Rode, which has been an amazing story for a player of his caliber to come off the bench and make 3 goals like that. First team All-ACC player last year. So, Devin, I ask you, how does Louisville see this thing out? And can Notre Dame nick one back and get back into this?
You got to continue to apply pressure up top. They've reserved themselves a bit further on the defensive front than I would have liked with 23 minutes to go. I get it, you're up 3-0, but you're still facing one of the top teams in the country, the best team in the ACC. So it's kind of one of those things that I say to you in the past, be careful what you wish for, because you're giving a team that's very good on the ball. They maintain a belief regardless of opposition or circumstance, and especially after the goal, the confidence is high. So if you start to push more pressure up top, you're saying back to Notre Dame, we're not done. That doesn't mean you have to go chase a goal here, but you got to get on the ball a bit more than you have been, because right now they're just walking around looking at shadows. Much better ball movement and more efficient from the Irish.
Okay, we've just been told they're going to go reviewing something right now, and you can review violent conduct. It's Ethan O'Brien is one of the potential so it's Patty Burns and Brandon McManus, and Burns is asking for the elbow. J.C. Griggs, the center official. These are things you could review. These are not part of the new experimental rules. You can review these in years past. If there was any potential violent conduct, it can be looked at. It was checked by Griggs. Tells McManus, take it easy, or we're back in action. You did see a game earlier today, Clemson-Duke. Sean Smart smack / won't call it a punch into the face of a Duke player. This cross could be dangerous. Here we go. Bryce Bonneau. 3-2. The Irish are not done, and they got plenty of time to tie this thing up, if not win it. Devin, you talked about belief. Chad Riley's told us about this team. They know who they are, they believe, and we're seeing it before our very eyes.
Can't let them hang around. You cannot allow a team that is so good in transition and set pieces to hang around in these matches. The tactical move, Bryce Bonneau out of the middle, up onto the front line. The assist the first time around. That's his 6th of the season. That moves him up the ranks for the Fighting Irish, but it's the goal here that is incredible. Tucks himself right in that gray area. Back shoulder run of Quentin Elliott, just in front of Josh Jones. Full extension, bottom corner. One of the most balanced teams in the country have restored an equilibrium with 22 minutes to go.
How about that? 5 minutes ago, I'm pouring dirt on them. Louisville's moving on, and here we go. 2 goals in a matter of minutes. Bryce Bonneau adds a goal to the assist he already had. And we've got ourselves a game. And they want more. Bonneau trying to leg this out with LaBelle. Great job by the veteran center back. Louisville, once this year, had lost a 2-goal lead. They were up 2-0 against Ohio State. That game ended 2-2. Any other time this year they were up 2 goals, they're 7-0-1. 3 goals, it was a wrap. Irish wanting more right now. Michael Rossi, the big junior, number 19, is checked in the match. There's Rossi, the junior from Illinois, making his 9th appearance on the season. Again, playing without Matt Rue, 10-goal striker on the campaign. And Gage Garrett just goes right through Mo Williams. Devin, what's it like on both sides here? If you're Louisville, if you think you kind of got it and you may have switched off, how hard is it to gear back up? And for Notre Dame, what are they feeling and thinking to think they're done and be back in this now?
There's probably some verbal atrocities that shouldn't be shared on air, let's put it that way. If you're wearing a Louisville jersey, I've been in their position, and you kind of look around and you feel like all the walls are falling in on you and that there's no way to escape from it. But you're just looking for a similar type of reaction in one moment that's going to kick your team out of the doldrums. It's what got them here with the opening goal from Saunders Road, and it's what can help continue to get them back on track as they've struggled heavily on the defensive front, pinned in their own half and chasing all these players around. If you're Notre Dame, you can do no wrong. This is where it gets really interesting for attacking players, and to be fair, the team overall, because every single touch, every ball movement that you do, you feel like you're the best in the world.
It looks like it now, combining well. Russo just cleared out by Gaetano D'Argento, and D'Argento may end up being the 6th card in the book.
Beyond clean for the Fighting Irish, just out of the middle. Ethan O'Brien, as he pushes it outside, there's the depth piece that comes back in. You make the width of Louisville start to compress itself, which opens up the channel. The overlapping run, the space. Again, we look at the Fighting Irish and we say, okay, it's predictable, it's efficient, it's easy to track. Yeah, well, they're also really good at doing it. I don't care how simplistic in nature it looks. Tiki-taka, one-touch type football all over the pitch right now for the home team.
13 of 36 goals in the campaign from set pieces. They've always been deadly here. Can they do it again? Clipped in back post, Rossi! Deflects out. 6'5" striker thought he had a chance there.
Surprised that they don't move Josh Jones onto the back post here to try and counteract that, because they would nullify each other in theory. Josh Jones moving towards the near post to try and clear away the immediate threat, but with a guy of that stature, you're almost always going to try and find something onto the back post and then redirect across the goal frame.
Wind whipping here at Alumni Field. Low ball played in. And Parker Forbes laid out for it. Patty Burns getting called the foul. Burns is saying it was low. Doesn't matter. Forbes did just check back in for D'Argento. So 20 black in the game now. He is carrying a yellow too, which may factor in the next 18:33. It may factor in if we're going into overtime. And Rossi cleared out by another big 6'5" guys. You mentioned Jones. Sebastian Green working, combining, Green into the box, and then just lost his footing on the ball. Fortunately, because Quentin Elliott was in a tough position there. Turned over. Bonneau, goal and assist on the match. Over to Williams, the center back, way forward. Rode now, trying to release Gage Guerra. Guerra battling, 1v3. Coolly done by Josh Ramsey. And a great distribution. They're going the other way. Not the right choice by Green. Bonneau got his body in front of Jones, and now we'll have a chance to serve the box again on a dead ball.
A little bit surprised Sebastian Green tried to play that ball, to be fair, because not only did he have space, but he had the ability to just communicate a bit better with that front line and challenge back over. But for the guy that has started this comeback for Notre Dame, and Bryce Bonneau just motioning to the sideline there. He had the assist on the opening goal for the Irish. He had the beautiful diving header into the bottom corner that got him to 3-2, though asking his manager for a bit of assistance with 18 minutes to go.
If you're just tuning in to college soccer second half, you can exit the match once and re-enter. So Bonneau's day is not necessarily done. Nolan Spicer comes back in, freshman from Ohio, former Gatorade Player of the Year. Ethan Subachan now back in for Gage Guerra, 18 in for 9, playing that number 9 role up top. Ethan O'Brien to serve it in.
Look at the goalkeeper's positioning. I'd hit it near post if I was him.
Looking back post for a teammate, but Alex Svetnov comes out, claims it. Taking under 17 minutes here. Great note from our statistician, Tom Consempa. Notre Dame, 12 goals in the final 20 minutes this year. Louisville has allowed 11 after the 70th minute. Subachan. Run down from behind. Dinked forward. The game is getting stressed. Stretched, excuse me. O'Brien unlocks. Green almost. Subachan goes down. Lewis is able to battle Barker John, and Notre Dame maintains possession. Good feet by O'Brien. Gets it to Spicer. Back to Lewis, first-time ball. They find Green. He's got Jones stretched out from his center back spot, and oh, that leaves something to be desired.
Very clean on the ball, though. Very impressive from the Fighting Irish right now. Love the addition of Wyatt Lewis into the midfield. That's been quite the compliment to Ethan O'Brien. And, you know, whether it was the first half and their inability to close down some of the space after the 20-minute mark, Chad Riley talked about the lack of creation up front that stemmed from how deep their 2-8s were sitting within the midfield. They've come alive here in the second half, and everything seems to be running through them. There is an inversion from the outside midfielders, a little bit more so than normal, but just really clean on the ball from the midfielders.
Good control by Rode to maintain possession. Parker John. Louisville's trying to catch him in transition, Devin, but it just keeps, they can't control the ball. It seems a little helter-skelter.
It's every touch that isn't just right. There's a level of perfection usually necessary to take down Notre Dame, and when they don't play up to their standards, okay, yeah, you find a chink in their armor and you go get your goals, and that's great, but this game is far from over. We said you can't leave them hanging around. There's much too much talent, depth, one-on-ones, set pieces, goalkeeping. This team has it all. And I'm not just talking about the ability to win a divisional title, be the #1 overall seed, win an ACC tourney. This team has everything in its arsenal to go and win a national title. But all they care about right now is just continuing this path that has been the comeback, hopefully, of a lifetime. Down 3 goals, get it to 3-2, and 15 to play.
There were 8 players on this roster now that played in the ACC tournament, in which Notre Dame won in 2021. Ano Ento is one of those players. Got a lot of experience succeeding here, and to your point, going to the College Cup in 2021, but they want to add more hardware to the legacy they leave here at Notre Dame. They've got to score another goal here to keep themselves alive. That same year, 2021, Notre Dame played Louisville here in South Bend, and they won in penalties 3-0. Brian Dowd making saves. Louisville does not want to relive that nightmare. Notre Dame would love to get to that point right now. Ramsey just hooks it back into play. Russo and Sample battling. Parker John tries to play it around to McManus. McManus gets to his head. First time cross in. Parker John on it again. Happy to waste a little time. Maybe maintain possession. No, he can't. The first goal scorer, keeps it in play. Still on it. Notre Dame advancing it quickly. Spicer, a little hesitation, rides a challenge from Bocuzo, goes down hard. And they're back in play quickly. Got him on the overlap. Got a lot of white jerseys in there looking for Ento, but Jones in his 6'5" frame there first. Parker John happy to clear it. We're under 12 minutes now. Ramsey, the center back, continued his run forward. O'Brien's pass pulls Genenbacher out. Can't keep it in play. Breaking the action, tell you about a great women's volleyball match we have for you Friday. Number 10, Georgia Tech hosts number 6, Pitt at O'Keefe Gym. Coverage begins 5 Eastern. Great top 10 matchup. Missed kick. Well controlled by Russo. He goes down, foul called. O'Brien will trot over to take yet another free kick. And there's a Louisville player down in the middle of it. It's Bryce LaBelle. He's on the deck. Junior from New Jersey. Playing his 62nd game for Louisville. 61 starts. And Mo Williams was actually pushing on Parker Forbes and then hit LaBelle. This can be reviewed, and looks like J.C. Griggs will review it. Violent conduct, disciplinary matters is always able to be reviewed.
If anything, it would be Maurice Williams on the first challenge. Not that slight little follow-through that maybe influenced some theatrics from Bryce LaBelle.
And there is just a review, and then we're going to continue play, it looks like. Maybe a little talking to by J.C. Griggs to Mo Williams. Wasn't really looking at him, kind of pushed Forbes and then popped LaBelle in the face. Back post, played back across. Ento trying to settle back heel. Creative. Svetnov there.
It's a difficult one for Eno Ento as to whether or not you want to step on this and then try and play it back across. And instead, elects to go for the spectacular on the quick little back heel to get that much pace on a ball. Coming off that back right boot, very difficult to do, and credit to him that he's even able to get it on the frame.
Subachan. Rode is on it. Also on a hat trick, as we've said. 3 goals for Sonder Rode is the difference right now for Louisville and his Cardinal mates over Notre Dame. Came off the bench. Changed the game in his first touch with the first goal of the match. Put him up 3-0. It's now 3-2 because Bryce Bonneau scored the second goal back in the match for Nolan Spicer. He assisted on the first goal. And that's where we're at. Wyatt Lewis looking for Bonneau. Can't connect. Long ball. Svetnov will let it bounce and then corral it. Notre Dame faithful, counting down Svetnov as he tries to waste time, and they want to put pressure on J.C. Griggs to maybe give him a yellow if he's going to keep doing that. Subachan comes out with the ball. He could ice this thing. No call. First look looked like it could have been a foul for sure, but J.C. Griggs says no, waved it away. Patty Burns, quick restart to Bafor. Jones over to cover. And they're calling a foul on Bafor, saying he went high boot toward Jones's head. Devin, we've seen Notre Dame do it before. At what point, if at all, will they just put some bigger bodies forward and try to play Route 1 football here?
Not yet, because Louisville is still trying to advance themselves as well. They haven't resorted to picking a ball up over the top and chasing down into the corner. Not just yet. They're still trying to play. And so within that conversation, you're going to have methods of which you can break them down. We've already seen it so far. It's just being clean on the ball. The ideas of going from A to B to C as quickly as possible have followed Notre Dame out of the dressing room, and certainly over the last 15 minutes, that's the course they need to chase right now.
Well, a couple fouls by Notre Dame has allowed last minute, 30 seconds or so to tick off the clock without anything happening. So Louisville happy to watch that happen. Would be just a massive win for them. Notre Dame 8-1-0 all-time at home in ACC tournament games. Damian Barker-John on the ball. Challenged by Russo. Genenbacher joins the fight. He loses possession. Genenbacher's pass is wayward. Bafford just hooks it long. Lewis, and he's been really good. Thought that header was going to have a different destination, though. Subachan looking for the foul, not going to get it. Bafford.
Notice how deep they are again, Dallin. They've dropped further into that five-back system that we saw them change against Boston College. Argento to the wing-back spot.
Argento trying to battle with Jones, and man, well done by Jones. Great defending, uses body well, draws a foul, and bleeds more clock. ACC Men's Soccer Championship is brought to you by Chili's. 3 for me, the best $10.99 you can eat. Touchdown Jesus in the South Bend night here. The Fighting Irish need a goal. Under 5.5 to play to keep their ACC tournament hopes alive. Looking for another ACC crown like they got in 2021. Louisville looking to keep their ACC tournament and NCAA hopes alive with a win. Winner gets Clemson in the semifinal. If it's Louisville, Mike Noonan and the Tigers will be hanging out at historic Riggs Field again. If Notre Dame comes from behind and wins this game, they will be hosting the semifinal. Wednesday night here on ACC Network. Let's get you caught up. We got 5 goals, and Sonder Road got you going. First hat trick of his career. And the junior from Norway did it in style. First touch, Devin.
Beautiful volley down into the bottom corner, and then right back to work. Yes, it does come off his hand, but he's still got a ton of influence on this play. Little step forward, right into the bottom corner, and it's 2, but 3. 3's probably better than 1, and that's saying something. The pace at which this ball is hit to the backside, and you think, okay, game, set, match? Not whatsoever. Not for Notre Dame, and the belief that has been maintained all season long that regardless of what's put in front of them, they're going to find a way to continue to battle through it. You and I witnessed it firsthand, down to 10 men to get an equalizing goal. Just 2 matches back against Wake Forest. And with 5 minutes to play, the Fighting Irish are definitely within reach.
Scored those 2 goals, took all the momentum. Haven't given up 3 goals all season long. Early ball played in by Ramsey. We're under 5 minutes to go. Already 2 of the 3 lower-seeded teams in the ACC men's soccer tournament were victorious. North Carolina and Syracuse in the other semifinal, both won on the road. Louisville looking to make it 3 of 4. Stepping forward, and Russo looking for the foul, not going to get it. And they love the long throw, and they're setting up for it. Genenbacher to take it. Flicked on. McManus clears it. That's Brian Dowd, the keeper, up to keep it pressure on. We're under 4. Ethan O'Brien looking for the handball, and Subachan, they will get it. Assuming that's Gage Guerra, pardon me. Clock is ticking, though. Driggs gives the whistle to go ahead. Floated back post, headed down by Williams! Spent over the save, still loose! And it's in, it's Bonneau again! He's having the game of his life! 2 goals and an assist, and we're not at 3! They will not go quietly into that good night.
Second and third balls on the pickup have been quite impressive in the second half for the Fighting Irish. Because if you can't get on the first one because you've got a 6'5" Josh Jones in there, you got to find a way to fight and scrap. Matt Rue, 10+ goals. That's how he picks up most of them. Genenbacher on the touch once again. He got this thing going off the ball from Bonneau. This time, repays the favor off the deflection. Round and round we go in South Bend.
Wow, the former Gatorade National Player of the Year. Whole freshman year gone due to injury. Scores his 3rd goal of the season. He had 1 goal coming into this match, 2 in the ACC Men's Soccer Championship quarterfinal that have completely changed the complexion of this game. Alex Svetnov, the keeper, can't believe it. Sitting on a 3-0 lead with just over 25 minutes to go. It is now 3-3 with 3 minutes left in regulation, and a little bit of a collision there. Looks like Bradley Sample went down hard. But Bonneau and Sample having some words, but Russo picks the pocket of Barker John. Could they do this in regulation? Tries to dink it over to Ento. Doesn't come off. Headed down Sander Rode, who was the star for Louisville with his hat trick. Looking to get them back on the front foot. Quentin Elliott. And Ramsey goes through him. And that's going to set up a set piece in a dangerous area. Louisville's been in survival mode the last 20 minutes. Trying to become the aggressor again. That was the latest goal that Notre Dame has scored this year in the 88th minute by Bryce Bonneau at the most critical time. This is Sander Rhodes' forte. 19 assists in his career, 6th in the history of the Louisville program. Already has a hat trick today. Can he add an assist to a career night? Flips it in back post, and it's Jones! Oh! The big 6'5" center back! This isn't the first time he's done this! Game-winning goal in each year of his career! And this one this year could be the biggest.
Through everything this team has seen this year in terms of adversity, challenging the depth of formational changes, lack of form, that man right there, Josh Jones, has been constant. Every minute of the last 12 games for good reason. Leading by example, his physical prowess, the vertical threat, and the belief that even after the magnificent start and letdown that has been the second half, the comeback kings over the past 4 games still maintain the belief that they can and will find a way to produce the upset of the season.
We're not done yet. Under 2 to go. Notre Dame Fighting Irish steaming back the other way. We've had 6 goals in this half. Them saying no service, no service. And Russo's going to draw another free kick. Parker John went down, handled the ball when he was on the ground. Clock is ticking, though. Here comes Brian Dowd. You see him the bottom of your screen. 31, unmarked, dark green jersey. Louisville trying to communicate there's an extra man there.
Oh, look at the top of the box.
And Bafor unmarked to the top of the box. 50 seconds. Driven in, doesn't beat the first man. O'Brien keeps it in to Bafor. Floats it, back post. Their body's there! It's loose! Cleared off the line! 36 seconds. Long throw coming. Flicked on into the thankful hands of Svetnov. Oh, how did that not go in? We'll take a look once the buzzer sounds if it's going to get there. 15 seconds. Svetnov can milk it and then just get rid of it. For the first time since 2018, Louisville has beaten a ranked team, a top 10 team on the road, and they did it when they had to do it. They will move on to the ACC tournament to play a semifinal against Clemson.